Suzy Shuster sitting in for Rich Eisen while he rests up after a little bit of a Munich-related mung situation. Is that what we're going to say? What do you think, TJ?
I don't know what mung is.
Nice alliteration.
Mung is, thank you. I get paid a lot of money, and by
Mung
that
is like
I mean zero to do this.
It's like a Northeast thing, right? To call it mung.
Yeah.
You're just like, you don't have
never heard that.
You don't have a
feel mungy.
specific sickness.
Yeah.
You just have like a lot going on, and you just don't feel good.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Doc Rivers has spent some time in New England. He gets it. Doc, you know what I mean when I say that you you feel mungy, right?
Yeah, I think it's weak, but yeah. If that's why Rich is out, I don't know. I don't have a lot to say.
You know when you read those stories about the women that secretly poison their husbands, like quietly one by one, like, I may have made dinner for him on Monday or Tuesday because I was bored and didn't want to go do my day job. So I was like, someone's got to do my hair and makeup. Rich, here, have this dinner that I made you. And then he's not there.
I think you're the type of woman that would actually tell him that you're going to poison him.
True.
Listen, I'm from New England. I'm very direct, right? I mean, you know that type of that type of person. How are you, Doc?
I like those people.
Long time no see. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. You know, getting through the minutia of the early season. With what we have, a lot of injuries, a lot of stuff, but we're hanging in there.
Yeah, but hanging in there, I mean, you got to sit back and watch an absolute clinic from your big guy the other night. What was it like watching Joel Embiid absolutely put on a show, scoring in every way imaginable? What's that like for a head coach to sit back? Do you cross your legs and put your hands behind your head? I mean, what do you do?
I wish you could. It was a heck of a game. You know what's interesting, Suzy, when guys have great games, and I mean great games, like the numbers has never been seen before. Like really, and you don't notice it because he does it in the right way, and that's I think you understand what I'm saying. Sometimes a guy can have a great game, but you notice like, damn, he's shooting a lot, or man, he's this game. He had 7 blocks, he had 8 assists, he had 13 rebounds, and it came in the flow. So I didn't know. I knew he had a huge game. I didn't know 59 huge until I looked at the stat sheet after the game, and that tells you that you really had a great – when you have a game like that and it doesn't necessarily stand out, that means you're having an amazing game.
And, the thing with Joel is that you see a guy who wants to lead. And I think that's such a leitmotif right now in the NBA as we look around. You've coached so many players. What is it like to know that you have a player who wants to be there? Because we can look around, obviously, like I just said – there are players who are the best in basketball, and they're not willing to take that leadership role. So what are you seeing in your player, and how would you genuflect on that?
Yeah, I think what he's trying to do is learn how to be that. Just because you're the best player does not mean that you've learned how to be the best leader, the best example setter. And Joel was the best player at 19 when he walked on the team. And so he's had to learn all that stuff. And the thing that I enjoy coaching him, he wants to. Like, he asks questions all the time. He'll do something, and he'll come back to me or walk in my office. Should I have done this? Should I have shown up here for another event? Like, just little things that you have to give yourself to the team for the team to be great. And so a lot of guys don't get that, Suzy. They don't understand that part of it, and Joel is really learning to do that.
What's your opinion, Doc, if you could step back and opine a little bit on what you're seeing in Brooklyn with all the controversy of having some of the best players in the NBA assembled on one team and not being quite sure what's coming out of it?
Well, the first thing I would say is they've never really been together. In the 3 years they had James and Katie and Kyrie, and someone was injured, someone had COVID. I mean, something. This year was self-inflicted, obviously, by Kyrie. But I would, it's funny. I still look at those two guys, and if they get back on the floor and can stay out of the news and then learn how to be a team, they're still two of the better players in our league. Now, they need other guys to step up and help them. And so I always say jury's out with them. So if they went on a run, would I be surprised? No. And if they went the other way, would I be surprised? No. I just think the jury's still out.
It's so early to prognosticate, isn't it? We were saying that the Christmas lights aren't even up yet here in Los Angeles, and yet we're already wondering who's going to be playing in June.
Yeah, I mean, if you looked at right now, is anyone brave enough to say Golden State is done? No. We know they're not. And we know they'll be fine. But right now they're struggling, and a lot of teams are. We are. We're 500. We've had a lot of injuries and stuff like that. Atlanta is starting to, everybody has their own issues. Miami, I think, is under 500 or right at 500. So, yes, just too early.
Hey, Doc, I was just wondering, big Sixer fan here. Could you talk a little bit about the development of Tyrese Maxey and what he's meant to the team so far this season?
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, it started last year. It really started his rookie year towards the end. But we have a kid that has a chance to be really special. And what makes the teaching of that special is we also have the greatest kid. And, he doesn't have bad days. And that doesn't mean he doesn't play well every day or he doesn't have a bad game. But it's hard for him not to have a bad day. And he's one of those guys that brings sunshine to your life and to the team every day. And when you have a guy like that, he has a chance. He wants to learn. He's the first in the gym, the last to leave. When he struggles, he puts it on himself. He doesn't deflect and put it on anyone else. He doesn't use an injury. He just wants to get better. And when you have a guy like that, the chances of him being great are really good because of that.
Doc Rivers here on the Rich Eisen Show. Suzy Shuster in for Rich Eisen. Doc, what was the best piece of coaching advice you ever got? We had Ron Rivera on in the first hour, and he talked about Coach Mike Ditka giving him some of his most valuable advice. But what was yours?
That's a great question, Suzy, because I've had a lot. I mean, think about it. I've been coached by Larry Brown, Mike Fratello, Pop. I worked in the San Antonio organization, Pat Riley, Rick Majerus. I've had great coaching. I think patience is one, trust yourself is two, and then the biggest one is from Chuck Daly, who was known as the great communicator, And in his last couple of years of his life, I remember asking him if he could do his coaching career over, what would he do different? He said, I would communicate more. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, you're already known as the great communicator. And he said, it's never enough. And so I would say that, like, a lot of times we think we've communicated it. We think we're in a good place with your players, and you can never trust that. You just got to keep communicating. Probably in marriages too.
Comes in handy, doesn't it? Chris?
Doc, we know you're a big Bears fan, and while the record might not, we know you might not. Yeah. The record might not relate with what's being actually on the field, but you must love what you're seeing out of Justin Fields right now.
I really do. I love how he's playing. I like that he's running and passing now. He plays free. I love what they're doing. I'm disappointed in some ways. I didn't expect them to have a great year this year because they gave away a lot over the summer. They were almost telling us they were not, but yet they're in every game. And Fields, when's the last time Chicago Bears had a great quarterback? The answer is never. They've had some pretty good ones. And for the first time, we have a chance to have a guy that can turn into a great quarterback, and that should make everybody in Chicago happy.
Yeah, what would you like to coach him? Like, how would he be as a basketball player, you think, just from what you've seen on the football field?
Golly, he would be a fast point guard. What's the guy, Fox in Sacramento? He would be like Fox, that. A guy that can beat you with speed, can get to the basket. And as it comes on, he's starting to really get his shot. That's Fields passing. Yeah, that's who he would be right now.
Did you ever play football, Doc?
I played one down.
One down?
You didn't like getting hit, let me guess.
I played. So the true story, I played and just for a little bit. And I had a big game. And then the next game I decided to not wear my girdle because it didn't look good. So I wanted to look good while I was playing, and I got hit really hard on my hip. I had a little hip bone, and I decided they're trying to hurt me. I'm going back to basketball. That was it for me.
TJ, what do you got?
Hey, Doc, so last year, After James came to the team, you guys had about 24 regular season games to kind of figure out your chemistry and how, all the parts would work together. And now that you've had a little bit more time, I know James is hurt. So two-part, is he close to returning? And how have you been able to, kind of work everyone in together into the mix, because you didn't have that much time last year to get the chemistry where you guys wanted it?
Yeah, it was great because we had training camp, and so you could see it slowly, and then injury. Joel gets injured. Joel gets sick. Joel comes back from being sick. James gets injured. So, the difference is now when James comes back, they've already had time together. We already kind of know what worked, what didn't work, what we need to work on. So it's a work in progress, but I think we're way far ahead than we were last year. And, we forget last year, the pick and roll combination with James and Joel was number one in the league, and we didn't even scratch where we thought we could go. So to me, there's a lot of optimism as far as those two go once we get them all together.
One last question for you, Doc, on the Mercedes-Benz van phone line. This is a crazy question because we've been talking about it all show. I'm sure that you've read or seen some of the Taylor Swift craziness when she broke the internet the other day, right? Because people are trying to get tickets to the Taylor Swift concert that's coming out next year. And the internet broke and people went crazy and there's been vitriol and anger everywhere. What concert would you spend an entire day of your life? Any band, any rock group, any rap group, you name it. What would you spend a day in your life and just get so mad and angry to get tickets to watch? What would it be?
Unfortunately, those people are not alive.
Yeah.
That's okay.
I'm that old, but I was a huge Michael Jackson guy.
That's what I picked.
And I saw him once in concert, and it was amazing. It was amazing because I got to meet him before, and he looked like this little drawn-up man. And an hour later, you see him on stage, and he looked like he was 7 feet, and you realize, man, the only place he's comfortable is on stage. But it was an amazing concert, and if I could see that one more time, I would stand in line. But that's about it for me.
I wrote him a letter. I sent him stickers. I think I was probably like 8 or 9. Like, dear Michael, my name is Suzy Shuster, and I just think you're the greatest. Do you think he got that letter, Doc? Do you think he ever opened it and got those stickers?
I think it probably is still sitting somewhere unopened.
Thanks for taking the time and for leaving practice to give us a call. I always appreciate it.
No problem.
We'll talk to you
Take care,
soon.
Suzy. Tell Rich hi.
I will, Doc. Thanks
Doc.
so much.
Thanks, Doc. See you, man.
All right, thanks.
Go Sixers.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.